It's slightly odd to call a video game beautiful. In the reviewer's lexicon, the best video games are complex, intricate, or groundbreaking. But God of War's simplicity is its beauty. In intensely focusing on just two characters, the game manages to capture humanity in a depth I've never seen in a video game before, which is all the more impressive because the God of War universe is the place where you'd least expect to find any shred of humanity at all. 2018's God of War introduces us to Kratos like we've never seen him before. Somber, pensive, a far call from the bloodthirsty, hate-fueled protagonist of the previous God of War games. But Kratos' blood-spattered past haunts him, looming over his relationship with his son Atreus. Cold and distant is putting it mildly. Kratos appears to almost disdain his son, an attitude especially jarring as both Kratos and Atreus ought to be jointly mourning the recent passing of Laufrey, Kratos' wife, Atreus' mother.
Cut it out!
Weak. Again. Again!
Stop it!
Again! Your anger. You can get lost in it. The path ahead is difficult. And you, Atreus, are clearly not ready.
Indeed, when Kratos announces that he and his son will journey to the highest peak of Midgard to scatter Laufrey's ashes, what should be a shared journey of mourning becomes a training exercise, with Kratos assuming the role of commanding officer. Exactly why Kratos acts the way he does towards Atreus is the game's great puzzle. The journey up the mountain, which quickly escalates into an escapade across the Nine Realms, is a foray into Kratos' subconscious. Kratos is terrified by the idea that Atreus will become like him, a self-seeking, bloodthirsty god, and so he buries the truth. Kratos lies to Atreus about his godhood. The boy is left to believe that he is mortal when he is in fact divine, a contradiction that almost leads the boy to death's door. Kratos isn't the only parent in God of War who lets fear govern their relationships. Freya, the mother of the main antagonist, Baldur, imbued her own son with invulnerability to protect him from his prophesized death. Inadvertently, this left Baldur unable to feel anything. Perceiving it as a curse, Baldur partly seeks out Kratos at the game's beginning in the hopes that the God of War can finally make him feel pain. Like Kratos, Freya doesn't acknowledge the validity of her offspring's pain. Both parents prioritize their own peace of mind over the well-being of their children. Freya rests happy knowing that her son is invulnerable, even though he loathes his existence. Kratos, meanwhile, lets his son languish as he withholds the truth about his godhood. But Kratos, unlike Freya, evolves. Even by the end, Freya proves unwilling to undo her magic, even though she knows what will break Baldur's spell of invulnerability. Contrariwise, witnessing his own son's pain forces Kratos to change, to confront his methods of suppressing his worst fears. The first step is when Kratos tells Atreus of his divinity.
Why do you say nothing?
You said I was cursed. You think I'm weak because I'm not like you. I know I was never what you wanted. But after all this, I thought maybe things were different.
You do not know everything, boy.
No. But at least I know the truth now.
The truth. The truth. I am a god, boy. From another land far from here. When I came to these shores, I chose to live as a man. But the truth is, I was born a god. And so were you.
The next is when Kratos overrides his Spartan instinct to bury emotion. What Atreus needs isn't just tutelage, but love, and assurance most of all. When Atreus lashes out, as he does at Magni, it's because he's frustrated. He's frustrated because of the impenetrable distance between himself and his father, coupled with a feeling of being a failure. Violence becomes his emotional outlet. Kratos has to learn to love Atreus to prevent his son becoming like his past self. He needs to confront what it means to be a god, rather than hide from it. At the game's beginning, Kratos isn't confident that one can escape the curse of godhood, but by the end, Kratos' mantra is that we will be the gods we choose to be. When Atreus is first told of his godhood, he assumes a supercilious, entitled manner, at one point criticizing the dwarves Brock and Sindri for talking too much about their problems. Atreus isn't really like this, as his behaviour prior to his learning about his godhood shows, but that's what Atreus thinks it means to be a god, to be able to act however you wish. Kratos must set a different example. He has to believe that gods can be better for his son's sake. As Atreus puts it at the game's ending, is to be a god to be destined to kill one's own parents. It might indeed seem this way. The endless cycles of fratricide and matricide stem from a lack of love. The only solution can be love.
Father?
No. We do it together. Son.
God of War harbours no grand message or highfalutin plot, but from its simplicity comes beauty. With a main cast of just 6, God of War does far more than most AAA video games. It captures something of the complex mess that it is to be human, and it combines this with a simple observation: we can be better.